Hi, my name is Doc Christian Flynn. This video is about how meditation can get rid of bad habits. Something that yogis have known for a very long time and that science finally caught up with is that the brain is malleable. This means that the brain is not done being formed at a certain age, and it can change and is changed throughout our whole life. Neurons are cells that send and receive signals in the brain. When they communicate with each other, we call that a neural synapse or a neural pathway. When we do something, a signal travels along a specific path of neurons in the brain. When we do that over and over, that becomes a habit, or what I call a temporarily permanent neural pathway. It's permanent because if you don't change, the signal will continue to travel along the same neural pathway, and you'll be controlled by that habit. Now, I grew up in Maine, and it snows there. And what happens in the winter is people will shovel paths, from the front door out to their woodshed or to their car. And if it snows a lot, you continue to clear out the same pathway that you've made as snow builds up around the pathway. And after a while, you become limited to that pathway that you've made. And so you continue to follow this pathway over and over simply just because it exists. And that's what a neural pathway in our brain is like. There's an established path, and so the signals, they just take that path because it would be harder, be more effort to establish a new path. And this is why it can be so hard to establish new habits, because it's like shoveling out a whole new pathway with the temptation of the already established path right next to you. But don't lose hope yet. Habits are also temporary because we can change and create new neural pathways. Actually, when we hit our teenage years, the brain starts to go through this spring cleaning, where it starts to clean out the unused neural pathways to have more cells available for further establishing current ones or to create new ones. And so this whole process goes on throughout our whole life, creating new neural pathways. The field of academic science didn't widely accept neuroplasticity until the 1960s. But in the early 1900s, Paramahansa Yogananda came from India with the teachings of yoga, and he spoke of neuroplasticity. He said that our neural pathways are like grooves in our brain being played like an album in a record player. And a record player doesn't have any control over what sound comes out of it. It just plays whatever sound has been recorded into the grooves of the album. And that's a lot like our brain. It's a lot like us. Sometimes we don't have control over our behaviors or our habits because of the signals traveling along the grooves in our brain. But the good part is that meditation helps to degroove the brain of bad habits. Yogananda said that in meditation, life force is withdrawn from our muscles and from our nerves and concentrated in the brain. And that in meditation, the mind, switching from a subconscious state to a superconscious state, takes this concentrated energy and uses it to cauterize the grooves of bad habits in our brain. The other way that Yogananda said we can get rid of bad habits is to use intentional direction of our attention. I'll say that again because it's kind of a tongue twister. We can get rid of our bad habits with using intentional direction of our attention. Using the record player metaphor again, Yogananda says attention is the needle that forms and plays the grooves of our habits. That when attention is given to these grooves or these neural pathways, that's when they manifest themselves in mental and muscular activity. So what that means is that there has to be some energy given to these neural pathways so that these electric signals can travel from neuron to neuron. And that's when they express themselves in the mental and muscular activity in our actions, our behaviors, thoughts, emotions, our habits. So what's great about this is that meditation helps you to be aware of where your attention goes. It helps you to be the witness of what you're thinking. If someone has anxiety, I always recommend meditation as a long-term solution because of the way that it helps you be aware of what you're thinking and to be more in control of your thoughts. There's a saying that Where your attention goes, your energy flows. So Yogananda is saying it's the attention on the grooves in your brain, on these neural pathways, that makes them be expressed as habits. And what that means is it's the attention brings energy, it brings electricity for the synapses to happen. It's this electrical signal traveling through the neurons, through the neural pathway, that is expressed in the mental and muscular activity, as Yogananda said, which is our habits, the way we think and feel and act. And this means we have a huge responsibility now because there's a huge opportunity for change. Now, this means that all the things that have happened to us in our life, that have created our beliefs and our identity, these things that define us, that make us act and think and feel and speak in a certain way, don't have to control us. We can get rid of old neural pathways and create new ones. And that means new ways of thinking, new ways of feeling, new personality. Our brain is like a computer, and our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions, they're like the software that the computer runs. And our experience of life is dictated by the framework that the software allows us to function within. And it's no mystery that the outcome of our life is guided or controlled by our habits. We've known that for decades now. And research shows that 95% of our waking day is spent in subconsciousness. So 95% of our time is spent being run by outdated, old software that desperately needs an upgrade. That's neural pathways that are old, outdated, and that desperately need to be changed or deleted, or have new ones be created in our life so that we can have new outcomes in our life. I love the definition of insanity that Einstein gave, which is insanity is when you do something over and over and over and expect different results. I mean, how true is that for so many of us? I'm definitely guilty of that. And I've had so many realizations in my life after doing something over and over for the same way and realizing, wait a second, this isn't working. I need to do something different because these results are the same. It's because the way I'm thinking is the same. My perspective is the same, my actions are the same. I'm functioning from the same level of experience, and I need to change what's in here. I need to change these neural pathways. I need to change my software, my thoughts, my beliefs, my emotion, my experience of life. And then from there, as we know, our habits really guide our outcomes. So being able to change the new neural pathways or create new neural pathways and change the old ones, now I can start to have new outcomes in my life. And meditation is a very important key in that. And as Yogananda says, in meditation, our life force from the muscles and the nerves are withdrawn and concentrated in the brain. And that in meditation, the mind switching from a subconscious to a superconscious state uses that concentrated life force energy to cauterize the grooves of bad habits in our brain. Hey, it's Doc Christian. Thank you for watching this video. And if you would do me a favor, please hit the like button below and subscribe to my channel. Also, feel free to leave a comment so we can connect with each other and post any questions you have, because these questions will help me to make better videos that are more personalized for you, because after all, these videos are for you. And lastly, please share this video with anyone you think that might enjoy it or gain some benefit from it or get something out of it. Because you can always be the catalyst for change in someone's life, and you never know what the tipping point for the change will be. So never limit your ability to share. And thank you again for watching this video.